Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles,
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Derek the Master.
and this is Scream Bloody Movies, our Halloween edition. So I decided to put on the 24-inch pythons and be the Hulkster. Lydia, you are a witch. It
Oh no,
appears.
this is just me. This is what I look like.
You got that gangrene.
Yeah.
Bad news. Derek, what are you?
I'm a serial killer
Oh,
because they look like everybody else.
that's true. That's not a bad point. Not a bad point.
Except when you're not looking, they lose all emotion.
Should we call
Creepy.
the police?
I think we should.
I think we got a
I've got a funny
confession
story
finally.
about that, by the way.
About the police?
No, about
Serial
being a
killers?
killer.
Either
Yeah.
way you put it, it's weird. How are
It's
you
true.
guys doing tonight? This is our second annual Halloween episode. We made it a whole nother year. And we're literally, about to start season 3 in a couple months. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great. I had a really great day. I'm getting over like a really terrible cold. So my voice is probably way off and I'm a little congested still, but I'm finally getting over it.
Lydia, I didn't want to say anything, but you're kind of green too.
Yeah, I was pretty much. I feel great.
Derek, what about you?
I'm feeling how you feeling. There was a guy at Taco Bell that I used to go to in Castleton, and every time I'd go up there and he'd be like, "How you doing?" I'm feeling. How you feeling? I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh, you say, well, you feel like shit every day? That's rough.
Sorry about that. That's horrible.
That's how, I know what it's like, but
Yeah.
sucks that you're cursed with the same problem.
How are you doing, Jamie?
I am great. Good so far today. Ready to talk about this movie. Just finished watching it. Shaved my mustache into this ridiculous thing for you guys. So my wife hates it. She runs away from me. So that's a great start to the week.
I definitely would have put more effort into my costume, but I was taking care of 2 kids right up until the point where we jumped on here. So
Wait.
Okay.
When you say taking care, are you talking serial killer taking care, or?
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. Everything Derek's ever said is just going to be like
Now it
very
makes
cryptic.
so much sense.
a little suspect now.
The
Yeah, we'll
fact
have
it
like
doesn't
a
do
little
black and white from color.
montage of things that are, putting it all together.
Oh, I can see it now. So, guys, this week we watched Halloween 3, Season of the Lydia, and
It should be called that.
we will get to talking about that because there's a lot to say. But first, let's start this spooky week like we do every week and get into the horror news. I have actually quite a bit. I started with none, and now I have plenty. That's what happens when you research. So first off, let's start with this. A film that we've been talking about for a while, The Nun 2, is now filming. And James Wan shared a new screenshot of
No way.
it. Yes, now he is producing it, not directing it. But do you guys want to see the new screenshot?
Let's
just-
see it.
Just a little behind the scenes shot here, but it is.
I was like,
That's-
oh no, that
that's
looks
not it.
exactly the same.
There it is, right here.
Oh, okay. That is very vague.
Very vague, but we know it's The Nun 2. We know this is take 1. We know Michael Chavez is directing it, and Tristan Nyby is running camera, and we know that guy looks like Brian Doyle Murray. So those are the things we know.
I want to steal a phrase from probably any porno that you could ever think of. They totally blew their load like in the first Conjuring 2, I think, is whenever we saw the nun the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she'll never be more scary than she was in that film.
Well, no, you just have to get
And
close.
yeah, I know. I just, it was, not that the nun movie was okay. We'll get to it one day, but really good
Yeah.
in The Conjuring.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's not terrible either, right?
Yeah, so hopefully this is a redemption arc for that.
So, guys, you were fans of Silent Hill, right? Because we're about to venture back into Silent Hill with the new Silent Hill movie.
I saw that. I've actually never
with the original director returning.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I've never been into Silent Hill much. I know a lot of people who are into it though.
Did you watch the movie, the 2006 movie?
I did. I think I did, but I wasn't like into it at all. I think like I was trying to like it and I just never got it. I don't know. It was a long time ago though, so might be worth a rewatch.
You and I went to the theaters and saw that, I believe.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because that had our the man in it. What was his name?
Sean Bean.
Yes, I was about ready to say Ed Stark, but
yes, it had Sean Bean in it. Yep. Yeah, we went and saw.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say we went and saw that when it came out in 2006, and I believe we both liked it for what it was.
Yeah, it's based off of a video game, I think.
Yeah, very great video game franchise.
Yeah, which, by the way, there is a town that is the inspiration for that movie. It's literally on fire. It's a coal fire that started in the mines, and it's just been burning for like 50 years.
That's right. The Devil's Burning Rocks is also in a James Bond movie. It's The World's Not Enough. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So check this out. There is a new werewolf movie starring Edward Furlong. It is called The Forest Hills. Has Dee Wallace in it as well.
Really?
Edward Furlong plays the role of Billy, a man who influences Rico to believe that he can become a werewolf. And we hear Furlong transforms into a werewolf in the movie. So basically the plot is it follows Rico, a man who is tormented by the nightmarish visions after enduring head trauma whilst hiking in the Catskill Mountains. And we have a shot of Edward Furlong. Do you guys want to see it?
Yes.
Oh, please.
In this film.
Let's see.
All right. There he is.
Yep.
There
he is.
He looks
just like him.
Than he has been.
No, he does. He looks way better. He looks pretty good there, I think.
He looks clean.
Yeah, he looks like he's ready to be in a new Terminator movie with that jacket.
Yeah. I wish him the best. I hope he does as good at things as he can.
Will you guys be interested in seeing this? It is a new werewolf movie, after all.
I do love a good werewolf movie. He said no.
That's a negative.
It's got Dee Wallace in it.
It does have Dee
crying
Wallace
out loud. I'll watch
it
anything with Dee Wallace.
I'll give you that, but it doesn't sound appealing at all.
So, guys, Jordan Peele's Nope is heading to Peacock next month.
Oh, I can't wait.
So that way we can watch it. So next month at some point, we're probably going to review Nope, right? I mean,
yes, please.
Yes,
sure.
I've been wanting to see it. Haven't got a chance to see it yet myself.
Did it do well?
Yeah, it did really well.
I heard it's a masterpiece.
I hear it's really good too.
Well,
so guys, this is some interesting news here. They are making a sequel, reportedly, to Twister, and they're looking to bring back Helen Hunt.
Oh, good Lord.
What do you think of this?
I love Twister.
I do too. It's great.
Yeah,
they're always going to be bringing back people. Oh my gosh.
Legacy sequels are the thing, baby.
Ellen Hunt is killing it, though. You know.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. Would you guys watch this? Are you guys fans of the original Twister?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a phenomenon when it came out.
It was
don't know.
huge. It was
might
huge.
be.
Yeah.
It might be one of those terrible ones, though. Like it might be too. Technology might be too advanced to get the same reaction.
Maybe.
I mean,
that first one.
Have you like went back and looked at it? Like, it's hard because like at the time you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Now
Yeah.
you go back and you look at it, and you're like, oh man,
It still holds
definitely
up
from
pretty
the-
well, though. It still holds up pretty well.
it does, and the story is actually really good. And the
Yeah,
characters
it's
are really
all
great.
good.
And I used to
Super
have a crush
fun
on
movie.
Helen Hunt, so
Yeah. I went to the movies and saw that. I'll never forget it because
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to go see the Leslie Nielsen masterpiece Spy Hard. It was playing at the same time, but
Oh,
everybody else in the family wanted to go see Twister. So I was like, okay, we'll go see Twister, I guess. So we watched it, and I was like, this movie rules. I'm glad I went and saw it. Spy
Yeah.
Hard I rented when it came out on VHS, and I still love it. It's still funny.
Were you scared?
got some.
Oh, no, I loved it.
You
It was
weren't
like a
scared
big-
of being in a tornado or anything?
It's a big action-packed adventure for me. I mean, I was watching Freddy. You have to remember.
Yeah, but tornadoes, that's a natural disaster.
Yeah, and naturally badass on the big screen. So I had a good time with it.
Man. I don't know why, but I feel like we watched that. I feel like we watched Twister at school in like
You
third
did.
grade.
Because I watched Twister at school. I think we all watched Twister at school. That was one of those. It's that, Saving Private Ryan, and the movie that we talked about last week. What was that? There was another movie we watched that was the same thing. That we just. That's the last time. That's when we saw him. They
Yeah.
just showed him in school.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
Another piece of the Twister news. I guess they are looking at Whoopi Goldberg to be in it. They're going to call it Twister Act.
Shut up. Gosh,
God.
dang it. Jamie.
Got him.
Jamie, did you have caffeine today?
No, but well, maybe a little, probably. But I had a second punchline to that joke, which was it was going to star the Maori sisters and it'd be called Twister Twister.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, sometimes
You guys
I
remember-
wonder why I do this podcast.
You guys remember Sister Sister, right? That's good stuff. And
Yeah.
the smart guy, remember Smart Guy?
Yeah,
No, I never watched that show.
Oh, it was a good one, wasn't it, Derek?
it was. I like Sister Sister better personally. But
Yeah. And then finally, this last bit of news we have, The Conjuring 4 is officially in development.
Oh.
With the Conjuring 2 and 3 scribe, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, that's a name, is going to pin the new movie. James Wan and Peter Safran are returning to produce it. And I don't know if we have any news on who's going to direct the thing. But we don't have any bit of news on the story yet either. But it is in active development. Are you guys excited to... I mean, another adventure with the Warrens? I'm down.
Yeah, for sure.
100%, man. They're like,
Mhm.
I love that universe. The third installment was not as good as the first two, so hopefully they get back to basics, man. But I love that that franchise that they've started there.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we'll talk about The Conjuring 3 at some point because we've got to hit it to finish our Conjuring trilogy. And we still have to hit all of the other Conjuring universe movies. Like The Nun
Yeah.
and Annabelle and La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Yes.
Gosh,
Listen
that
here,
one was
brother.
terrible.
La La Land. That's all I can think of.
La La Land's a great movie. I like that movie a lot.
I have not seen it yet.
It's good. All right, brothers. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into this Halloween 2 or Halloween 3. I'm sorry about that, brothers. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Jack.
Oh boy, that'll never get old. You should do that in every episode.
That felt
What?
You should
that
have a
felt
whole
too
token
real.
segment.
Just a
Your
segment of me
introduction should
talking
be
as
as
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Listen, Jack. You have to say things like, Jack, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Dude,
Yeah, you gotta
Jack,
point the finger.
brother. Yep.
Yeah, you need to
Say
get
your
a
prayers,
cross
need your vitamins, dude.
necklace.
And you gotta just play to the
What you
crowd.
gonna do?
And then you say, racist things that get canceled.
Oh,
There's that. Anyway, let's move on to tonight's movie. Let's talk about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Let's start with you, Lydia. This was your pick, right?
yes.
So tell us. No, this was actually technically Derek's pick because you picked Night of the Living Dead.
Oh,
But
that's
we'll
right.
start with you anyway. What's your history with Season of the Witch?
I don't remember the first time I watched this one. I think I watched it with my mom, just like on the couch, folding laundry. It was around Halloween time. It was on TV.
This is a laundry movie. Laundry movie.
For sure. Yeah. And it just like it's right in the feels for me because I just remember like that, and it's just like a time in my life, that just like high school time of like just hanging around the house, being bored or whatever. But I remember just like being glued to the TV after seeing it, and I was just like, what is going on in this movie?
After you watch it, you still feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Derek, what are your thoughts and memories with Season of the Witch?
I had to dig real deep, and I still couldn't find a single actual memory of watching this movie.
Really?
The only memory I thought that I had of watching this movie never happened in the film, so it has to be a different movie. So I don't think I've ever watched this.
So this was the first time you've ever seen it, essentially?
The whole way through, yeah.
Wow.
Was it in black and white or color?
Damn it, Lydia.
Just making sure, man.
He said damn it because he has to check now.
Yeah, no, he's like, I gotta go look. Hang on.
You guys are so mean to me. Oh.
Anyhow, my memories of this movie, I haven't seen it in a while. I watched it. The most recent time I've watched it until this time was when I first bought the Halloween Blu-ray set that had all of them in it, from Halloween Clear to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the Shout Factory one, and so I watched it then. But it's been a while, so a couple years. But my earliest memory of watching this is actually my grandparents owned it on VHS, and I remember seeing it, Halloween 3, and I was like, ooh, Halloween 3. And then I remember putting it in, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I don't even understand.
Yeah.
It says Halloween 3. It's the third Halloween movie. Where's the shape? What is going on with this?
Yeah.
And I was real little. So, I mean, I was afraid of Michael Myers. He scared the shit out of me at this point.
So you're
but I was like
waiting.
Yeah, and I'm just like, where is it? I was like, why are there just men in suits walking around? Why is this mustachioed
Tom
man?
Atkins guy, and he's ruggedly handsome.
Yeah.
But
why am I magnetically drawn to Tom Atkins? I don't understand. But
we'll get to it, man. There's a scene in this movie just like cracks me up.
So that was my first memory, was that, and then I remember I had it on VHS as well. I think my mom ended up taking it from my grandparents or something like that. But we ended up with the VHS copy of it, and I remember my brother. I mean, I watched it. We watched it. But one of the things I always remember is my brother, Zachary, was watching it with his girlfriend, and she was super embarrassed when like Tom Atkins starts sucking on that girl's boob.
Yeah. That is a pretty embarrassing thing to just watch with family members and stuff.
Don't remember that part. That happened in this movie?
Yeah, it's when they start to sleep together. He like
I
lowers
watched it on Peacock, man. I didn't.
Well, you don't see
I watched
her
it on
boob.
Peacock too.
Yeah. You don't see
you
her
don't see
boob. You see her like he like cups it, and then he like starts like sucking on her boob.
Okay. I guess
That must have been fun to shoot,
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was thinking during that scene. I was like, holy shit.
Well, I mean, you were like, well, it is Tom Atkins. It might have been fun to shoot.
Well, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder where they were at,
Was this even scripted in the film, or was she just like, hey?
Was it scripted?
Since we're on this scene, it is the funniest thing whenever they're in the hotel room and
Oh, dude, yeah, we'll talk about it.
They all sleep in the car, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Where do you want to sleep, doctor?"
Dude, yeah, you're right. You're right. That scene, we'll talk about it here in a minute because I have something to say about it too. But yeah, so I've just watched it throughout my life. It's just been there. It's not been one that I watch annually like the other Halloween movies. Those are on a constant rotation throughout the year, and especially during Halloween. Of course, I go through my little marathon. But yeah, so there's a lot I remembered, and then there's stuff that I forgot about that I'm like, that's batshit. So we'll get into it. But Derek, yes, that scene in the hotel. Let's start with that because you mentioned it. If I walked into your house and you were watching that, I would have thought you were watching a porno.
100%.
100%.
I love
the
it,
dialogue,
like,
everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he was
like,
like,
"Would you like to sleep, Dr. Chalice?"
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge.
Yeah.
well,
What kind
that's
of
a
question
stupid
is that? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Just walks over to. I was just like, dude, this feels like a porno. This is how pornos start.
Well, and the age difference is really like the most shocking part, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
No.
she's quite young.
She is quite young.
I mean, but she looks like at least 20 years younger than he does. I don't
Hey,
know.
man.
Like,
Yeah. Where do you guys want to start with this movie? What do you want to talk about first? Let's just talk about Dr. Chalice, right?
Yeah, okay.
Or do you want
Let's-
to talk about the beginning?
let's
the
only
opening?
talk about Dr. Chalice the whole
I
time.
agree. I think that's the best thing to talk about in this movie.
Uh,
Everything here's Dr. Chalice. Here's everything else in the movie.
yeah, I mean, this is clearly a
Yeah.
character-based thing,
Yeah.
This movie is kind of all over the place.
It
To
has
be
some
honest with you.
shit just kind of thrown at the walls. Yeah.
And you know what really throws me off? This movie, I don't know if it ever happened before. I'm sure it did. Was this the first movie to ever have a metaverse? You know what I mean by that?
Oh, yeah, I do know what you mean. No, I'm sure there's been other Easter eggs to movies, but this is a pretty big one where we see
this is blatant.
Yeah, I mean, we see Halloween, the movie, inside Halloween 3. It's like Halloweenception.
yeah.
They're watching Halloween. Yeah.
And that
While
made me
they're in
so
Halloween.
mad. That literally pissed
It
me
kind of
off
takes
when
you
I was
out of
watching
it,
this
doesn't
movie.
it?
It 100% does, because now these are completely separate universes that these things are happening in.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
why even call it a Halloween movie? Sorry to get sidetracked on this, but it was a big part of me watching this movie. It frustrated me. I was kind of upset.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It is weird. But I mean, think about
I'll
it.
get over
They're like, well, let's throw them a bump. You're right. There's no reason to call it Halloween 3 except that they started to do they wanted to try doing anthologies, but they needed to throw the audience some kind of bone. Like, yeah, look, we didn't technically lie. There's Michael Myers. we have some scenes with some great original score in there, the Halloween score. When he's tied up and the Halloween's on and the clock's ticking down,
Yeah.
there was a part of me that was like, oh, man, I almost probably just would have taken off the mask and finished watching Halloween. Because it's the best part with the boom, 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 boom. And I was just like, instantly just like, oh, yes, this is everything.
Yeah.
And then he kicks the TV and I was like, you son of a bitch!
Which, by the way, is super unrealistic, because if you've ever tried to break an old tube TV, those motherfucking screens
Tube
are
TVs are tough.
indestructible.
They were tough. I know. I used to throw shit at them as a kid when I was real little. Toy cars. Tink! but we're all over the place. Just like this movie.
Just
we're
like
all
the
over
movie.
the place.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this opening real fast.
Sorry, your commentary there really got me.
But that's what it was. Do you remember? So the opening of this is like the opening of a Halloween movie. You know, like we get like the
Kinda,
the
yeah.
credit sequence and the jack-o'-lantern, except it's a digital. What do you guys think of the music during this?
It's irritating.
Yeah, and I was like,
I think most people would describe it as irritating. Yeah.
it's definitely not as cool as
Right. But like for some reason, I still really love it. I don't know. I guess I just really like this movie. So like it.
Well,
But, like,
nostalgia
parts
plays a
like
part
that-
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, but like I can recognize that this like the sound design and the music
dude,
and things like
it's
that
a
are
John
kind
Carpenter.
of horrible in this one almost.
Well, yeah, but there's still some good music beats in there. Some John Carpenter. He does the score.
Good. That's the thing.
He and
It's
Alan
good,
Allworth,
but
yeah.
it's like
Irritating.
it's like piercing. I
Yeah.
want to say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, there's a lot of those like John Carpenter sounds that I want. You know what I'm talking about? When somebody like jumps in the frame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those in this one. And since it, with the whole Android thing, it kind of leans into it even more. The electronic sound. It leans into that electronic sound more, I feel like. But the opening, so we have the title sequence, and we realize we're looking at a digitized jack-o'-lantern, which is pretty cool. I like that opening. I think it's neat.
I do too. Yeah.
And I really like the opening shot of the wide vista and the dude just running down the empty street. It's a good way to start a movie. The problem is it just lacks
It's all
tension.
downhill from there.
Yeah, it kind of lacks tension. You're just kind of like, who is it? What's going on? I do like the gas station attendant. He's just the guy that works at the gas station. He's just kind of like doing his thing and
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the right idea, by the way, whenever he took that guy to the hospital and it started like,
he
he's
split.
like, yep, I'm
Yeah.
going to get out of here.
It made me laugh the way they kept lingering on him fucking exiting too. He's like, peace, deuces.
I did my
Yeah.
good deed.
I liked that too.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna slip out of here.
He's like,
Hopefully
I
nobody
help people.
follows
You,
me.
you just hope, he's like, if people need help, you help them.
Yeah.
Unless there's trouble, then I'm fucking out.
Yeah, exactly. Then he's like, okay, this is starting to look like trouble. We're just gonna
Creeping
back
me
out.
out with the masks and everything. No, so he gets our guy, this man that we have no idea who he is, gets attacked by a man in a suit, and he ends up pinning him between two cars, and then running off, and then the gas station attendant takes him to the hospital where we meet Dr. Chalice. Well, we meet Dr. Chalice a little bit earlier. He's visiting his family. Which, did you guys see who plays his wife?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure
It's
did.
Annie.
it's Amy for sure.
I was like,
Which,
Nancy Loomis was in this.
it's funny how, it's not funny, I mean, it's deliberate, but like, they set this relationship between him and his wife, right? And they're
Mhm.
divorced.
Mhm.
And how it just kind of plays throughout the movie. I
Uh-huh.
like that bit. I like that, whenever he called her and he needed something, she was just like, you're a son of a bitch.
Yeah. What I love is that he goes and gets his kids like the shittiest possible masks for Halloween.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah, he's a doctor and he gets
Oh,
them like
yeah.
the kind that you used to buy at fucking Walgreens. Like when you're like running short on time, you're like, oh, I'll grab one of these guys.
I mean, to be fair, they're not the kind of masks that will, make your face melt and
That's true, and that's another problem. I have.
spontaneously let
It's another thing I want to
bugs
talk
and
about with the
snakes throw
movie
off.
is I feel like I would be safe in this universe because I would have had zero interest in these masks because they're not IP, and I'm an IP guy, so I'd have been like, that's not Freddy. These are too expensive.
Well, and the variety, they had 3, right?
Yeah.
And every kid wants these
same ones.
masks to have
Yeah.
the same ones. Like, that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
Honestly, though, I love when they actually show like Halloween night. They all have them like like the masks are dressed up. Like one has a witch's hat, one has a pirate's hat on. Like
yeah.
I loved that.
No, we'll get to that. There's a bit, that Halloween night thing. There's something I really like about that, but just if we're going based off of what I would like, but supply and demand. People loved fucking think about any fad. Tickle Me Elmos, fucking Beanie Babies. Tamagotchis, any of these fads that were Furbies, that if you create the demand, the supply will meet it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so it's just kind of like, oh yeah, these are the hot new items, and these kids are like, Mom, I've got a hat. Man, where we get
That was such a good impression.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Full of them
I
tonight.
watched South Park and I knew where that was from.
That was great. Oh God.
So these. So yeah, I get it, but I just would have been like, I don't care about these. I went one year for Halloween as James Bond, which entailed me wearing a business suit. And Daniel Craig didn't exist. It was only Pierce, up to Pierce Brosnan. So I had to spray dye my hair black.
Oh my gosh.
And just kind of walked around with this business suit, and people thought I was from the X-Files, and I was devastated.
Oh wow. Dude, I love the X-Files so
They're
much.
like,
I can totally see
they're like,
a
oh,
young Jamie as James
are you
Bond.
Mulder? And I was like, no, I'm James Bond. And so then by the end of the night, I was just like, yeah, you seen anything strange around here?
Yeah.
Just got beat into submission.
Dude.
So, by the way, what I've
Rewatching
gathered
X-Files
so
right
far
now.
It's great.
out of this episode is you need to introduce the horror news as Hulk Hogan, and then at one point you need to have a Cartman segment.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what I've gotten so far from this episode.
I feel like there's got to be some like copyright or something on that voice. I don't know.
No,
Willy
precious,
voice.
you can do all of them. So, oh yes. So what do you think of our first first kill here in the hospital? Oh boy, Android comes in, plays
Pulls his face out.
I got your nose with the guy.
He breaks his skull from like the eye sockets. Like that's intense. Like that's pretty
From
crazy.
the bridge of the nose off. Yeah.
I mean, like the way it's shot is kind of cheesy though. But like,
yeah, there's a lot of cheesiness in this. Go ahead. The final effect isn't bad.
Yeah.
Once we see it, the final effect looks pretty good. But yeah, there's some. Yeah. What are you going to say, Derek?
More or less just that the final effect is pretty okay, but like I was like, what the fuck is he doing? At first I thought he was pushing his eyes in.
Yeah, I thought he was
And I was
playing
like,
Got
okay.
Your Nose.
Yeah, and then you see like his face like come apart, and you're just like, I don't know, it felt a little sloppy. I don't know how they could have made that any better.
I think it comes
for
down
what
to
they were
like
trying to
the
do.
acting of it. Honestly, it's not like it was
Yeah.
shot
Didn't
poorly.
Yeah, just there's some execution problems
The-
with it.
The guy like has his hand up, and then he's like,
You're afraid of the claw.
The claw.
So yeah, I agree. But then he goes and catches him. He like goes and blows himself up.
Yeah,
Like-
he does,
Catches himself on fire, blows himself up.
which is cool
It is cool.
because you don't really know what's going on yet. with
No,
that
you're
guy.
still in the dark.
Yeah.
But what really makes me laugh is that whole like we get to see who Dr. Chalice is, and he's like kind of cool and awesome and flirty with everybody, and like the nurse really loves him and like slaps her ass and stuff, like because they have like a fake flirtatious relationship,
Yeah.
and it just makes me laugh that he's like, I should have married you, and she's like, oh.
Yeah. I was like, he crosses the line, but at this point, I just love Tom Atkins so much that I don't care.
Yeah, well, and then in also like 1983, it wasn't crossing the line. It was A-okay.
Yeah, no nurse is gonna say anything to the man in charge, you know.
Well, and I think she was in
She
on the
liked
joke. She was in
Liked
on
it.
the joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
If,
it wasn't unwanted. It just was a little banter
Right.
between friends.
You got it.
It's kind of like when I go up and I slap Derek's ass.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like that, but
Nothing
could
is like
be.
that. You're right.
it could be.
If only I were closer. But what really makes me laugh about this bit of the movie is so that happens on like the 24th or 25th or something like that. And then it's like so 25th, Monday, the 24th or something. And then it like skips and then it's like, you know, Tuesday. And it's like so nothing happened on that day before, you know, it just skips
Yeah.
multiple days and it's like those must have just been uneventful days.
Yeah. That's so funny. He's just like, what is he doing in those?
In between, yeah, because he's just like goes up and visits the you know the doctor that he flirts with, that works in the morgue, and he's you know has a little flirtation thing with her. Then it flashes another day, and he's like just sitting in a bar smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, you know what he wasn't doing on any one of those days? Visiting his kids.
Seems like
Poor
you're right.
kids. Poor kids.
Yeah, they have a really mean mom too.
Yeah, she seemed like she was a bit of a.
Turn that down. Whoa. Cranking it down.
He like barely turns it down, and she's like,
I know, I love it. That's what I would have done as a kid too. I'd have been like,
one notch.
and you're like, I did what you said. I turned it down. Don't come at me. No, you're right. He wasn't doing that. But in the meantime, in between there, like, so we get to meet, what's her name? Helen? Is her name Helen? Ellen? I don't remember.
something
I
like
don't
that,
either.
yeah.
Let me check.
All right. So while you're doing this,
Uh-huh.
is she a robot?
The entire time? No.
Oh
no.
no.
I
No.
agree. I think that she was swapped.
Oh, she
There's
was
only
swapped.
one.
Ellie is her
There's
name.
only
Ellie.
one line in the movie that like would even make you think that was a thing. And
Yeah,
that was
no.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When they were going at it, and she just like
Oh.
had a motor that wouldn't quit.
Oh, kind of.
But-
yeah, but he also would see
Did
like
he
her
say
whole
that?
body. No, she just was really into
He
it.
said, "Oh, you want to go again? You don't want to rest?"
Mhm.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
And,
but then that would make absolutely no sense because he would have
No,
just
you're right.
completely, yeah, would not
like
made any
none
sense.
of it would have like made the entire movie
He
make
would
sense
have known.
or not make
Yeah.
sense.
He would have known when he was boning her, I'm sure.
Hey, you don't know
What
how
do you
advanced
think?
their technology was.
I never thought about that though. That's super interesting because like I had never even considered that if she was just like a robot the whole time.
She wasn't, and here's why I know too: is the robots don't speak.
They did once. One of them did,
Well, I think that
One of them
scientist wasn't a robot.
sneezed.
That was a regular guy.
but he had no emotion when he.
Yeah, but
when he did.
that was a regular guy, I do believe, because when he
well
gets
he's got no
thing, he
personality.
just dies. Yeah, he's just no person, or probably a bad actor.
I
That
think
is
that.
also
I think
true.
that.
Maybe he was a chiropractor as well.
Yeah, maybe. They do like to pop up in these movies these days. So yeah, they hook up fairly, like they join forces fairly quick because she seeks him out, and then it's just like she takes him to the shop, and she's like, "Yeah, so I'm gonna go to this town here, and this town's where the masks are made, and this was the last place he went, And he's just like, hey, I can't take the kids. I got to go out of town for a doctor's conference. With the 6-pack, by the way.
Yeah.
If I noticed that too.
Love it. Then he heads out. What do you guys think of this little hotel in this little town?
It's weird.
It's really weird. Like the way they decided to set this plot is strange. Like the pacing of it is really weird, I think. Because they really arrive at the town still like in the first act. They're already there.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like, now what do we do? Well, we could just go straight to the factory and figure stuff out. No, let's just hang out here. Like, all right.
Well, he in the back of his mind, he was like, see what happens. Because he says get a couple of hotel rooms, and then he changes his story.
Well, he tells them, he tells them that, undercover, but then he does offer to get another hotel room. Though he's assuming that she would say no, I would guess, because of the implication.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that she's not going to say that. She would never say no because of the implication.
But
no fool, he's a doctor.
Yeah. So then we get to the porno scene. But before we get to the porno scene, we're introduced to this family. What do you think of the family here? What is it? It's the Kupfer family. Buddy, Betty, and little Buddy.
I definitely thought, just for a moment, that was the dad from Gremlins. For just a second, and then I was like, nah, definitely not. But anyway,
little Buddy's an asshole.
Little Buddy is an asshole, for sure. He gets what he deserves. But the other family members are like,
nice.
Too sweet. Well,
they're
the
nice.
mom's a bit. Go ahead.
Of a BIT, is that what you're gonna say?
That thing you always say?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's something I say sometimes.
That's not what I was gonna say. She's just like the stereotypical stay-at-home wife, like
yeah,
that they portrayed in the 80s. Like she definitely had a mold that they put her in, and
I agree.
The son was a little wild thing, and then the dad was just like
he like flips her off while he's like
he does. You're right.
She says,
whenever
stay out of the road, and he flips her off as he's riding his bike away. I was like, that little son of a bitch.
I've had that happen to me before. Remember, I think I told that story on this podcast.
Oh, right, yeah.
I was delivering pizza, and this little girl, little pigtails, riding her little tricycle. I thought she was gonna wave at me. She just flipped me off.
She was a bird. She was
flipped the pizza girl the bird.
She was upset because she was looking for the jump rope girl so she could sing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah, literally. Like she was just like pissed for no reason. Took it out on little old me.
And then we're also introduced to this this other girl. Her name was Marge Gutman. Marge Gutman.
Yeah.
Marge.
Yeah.
Poor Marge.
Yeah. Who also gets masks. So we have the sex scene, essentially. But before we have the sex scene, Dr. Chalice goes out. There's a curfew, by the way, in this town.
Oh, yeah, which they announce over a freaking loudspeaker.
What is that?
That is weird.
So weird. Like, this isn't like you went to some like strange European country and trying to get used to this. This is like a couple towns away from weird. So the curfew hits, but it doesn't make sense because Dr. Chalice is at a liquor store buying liquor.
Yeah.
Yep.
How?
Well, and it also
is that
doesn't
place
make
immune
sense because
from
there
the
aren't,
curfew?
Like people. Well, I guess are they all people?
There's people. Yeah. Those are people. Those are people because they're talking and everything. Those are people.
Gotcha. I was thinking they were bots because the old lady.
No, and she didn't. She couldn't even do anything. The old lady.
She was just like an automaton or something.
Yeah, he said that she was an old model.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was a
uh,
vintage.
yeah, like an animatronic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the owner of the hotel, he was not. He was a person,
Hmm.
and then the random like hobo that. By the way,
Yeah,
if a
which
stranger
is who he
ever
runs
approached
into
me
here. Yeah.
and I was carrying any type of alcohol, and he was like, "Hey man, can I have a drink of that? I don't have any diseases or anything." I don't know if I'd trust him.
It's a different era. Now we definitely wouldn't. We'd say, first of all, get 6 feet away from me. And no, you cannot have a drink of my alcohol. Yeah, so he gives him a swig, then he gives him $1. He's real nice to this guy.
He
And that's
totally
when
is.
the dude's like, I'm gonna Molotov cocktail that place. And then I was like, oh my God, when did Derek's brother join this town?
Yeah, Jay had to get his inspiration from somebody.
He had to. But what do you guys think of this scene with, like, when the hobo gets killed?
They were like, rip his head off.
Rip his head right off.
That's actually a pretty good one. And you see like the blood squirting up.
The blood
Like
sport
I
is good.
enjoyed that one.
The head rip, when he holds the head, it's not great.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
head,
I agree with
it's
that.
like, it's all like, you can tell it's like all rubber. You know what I mean? Like it has like the,
Well, all of them are kind of like that. Like
Yeah.
all the kills, all the all the prop stuff that they do. You could pretty clearly see that they're rubber.
yeah. And it was,
But
so
it
that
still
was
looks
kind of,
good. Like it's
Yeah.
still good, like sculpts and
yeah.
like
When
that,
he rips the head off, it's pretty cool. But then when we see the actual body spurting blood, I was like, yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's toast because he was threatening them and everything. And then we get this scene where good old Marge decides that because she says the silver shamrock deal came off. So she sees it and it has like, electrical circuits. So she does what any normal person would do with electrical circuits and starts poking metal objects into it.
That's the
for no
first,
reason.
No reason.
That's like in the manual. That's what you're supposed to do.
She's like, what if I just poked around in this and see if I can what? See if you can
Yeah.
what? What are you
I don't know
gonna
what the
do?
purpose. Yeah, what was the purpose of it?
Not only that, but like the battery technology back in the day was not what it is currently. Like, how is that thing going to have any type of energy to like beam her in the face?
It has.
Although it is mystical.
Yeah, it's gonna say it's
Mystical
witchcraft
magic.
Magic.
Yeah, magic
Yeah.
energy. But
Celtic
energy. But yeah, when it beams her in the face, I actually laughed out loud when it beams her in her face because I forgot about it.
did too.
I forgot about like the actual how it looked when it beams her in the face, and I was like, Then the aftermath is
man.
great. The
Talk
aftermath
about
is
the
great.
aftermath, though.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's great. The aftermath
That
is
is
great.
That's
Perfect.
gruesome. That's some gruesome makeup right there.
Yeah, her
Her
face is
teeth.
all teeth out. Yeah, and you can
It's
see like the bugs start crawling out.
Curls up into her hair. It's like one of those like nasty old like cave crickets or something.
Yeah, it's good. I
Those
like
things
that.
are-
But
bleh.
the effect when she gets hit is hilarious. It cracked me up. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it is. It's like,
I heard
what?
that. It made me laugh.
And then the best part is she's like, oh! And Dr. Chalice and Ellie are like banging still, and she's like, what was that? He's like, I don't
He
care.
said, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's get back to slamming.
Can you jackknife these from this position?
Yeah, give me the jackhammer. Hit me with the wheelbarrow. So yeah, really
Olivia,
weird.
I'm sorry.
So then the Silver Shamrock police, I guess, show up. And
They weren't police, man. They were all in lab coats. Like,
yeah. I say police because it's like their security force. Comes and takes them away, haha. And comes and takes her away, and Dr. Chalice is like, I'm a doctor. And like, we're getting her taken care of. That's when we first meet our villain of the piece. What do you guys think of Cochran?
yeah,
I think he's
he's
boring.
a great actor.
He is a boring character, though. I 100% agree.
Derek loved him. I'm like, he's boring.
Yeah, I
I
think he's
enjoyed his scene.
I think he's boring too because he's just kind of like, whoa.
I've seen this movie like a lot of times, and I never remember him. I always
He's the main villain.
I always misremember him every single time. I'm like, I can never picture his face. So I always picture the guy from The Burbs. You know what I'm talking about? The
Oh,
Irish
Bruce
guy.
Dern. Oh, the Irish guy from the freaking Klopek. You picture the
Yeah,
Klopek?
I think so. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, that's who should have been cast as this, because that's what his picture.
No, I
I
don't
thought
think the
the
guy
actor
gives.
did a great job. I
No,
loved
I don't.
his dialogue and his voice, and
I don't think
Tony
the
Fox is
actor
a really
did.
good villain.
I don't think
Go
the
ahead.
actor did a bad job. I think the villain is. I think he's just a boringly written
Yeah.
villain. I think he's just.
I mean,
The
I'll totally
magic.
give you that because this movie is fucking something else. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that guy.
Well, his evil plan. We'll talk about it when we get there, but it's kind of nonsensical as well.
It is nonsensical.
What do you guys think of this next bit where they're in the they go through the mask tour?
This is where stuff starts getting good.
So where it picks up a little bit. The pace picks up at least.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to all these like weird trinkets that he had, and he's like, well, he made his riches making toys, and then all this stuff and all this stuff. And it really makes me laugh because little buddy's like, oh my god, can I have one of these masks? It's like, you mean your dad didn't give you one of these
You don't
masks
have one?
that he's
Yeah.
been selling?
He's the
Have all
top seller
three.
in the entire country.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Well,
hell?
not only that, but like I kind of did like the exposition. Like he's giving him the history of this guy and
Mhm.
like how he came to be, and I thought that was good informative information.
Yeah, it was good, informative information. Some solid informative information there. I've got to say something. Dr. Chalice spends a lot of time in this movie on the phone.
Yeah.
This is definitely a phone movie. He's making phone calls every other scene, trying to make phone calls in other scenes, yelling at people over the phone in the final scene.
Yes.
He's just all about phones. He's sneaking around, trying to make phones and phone booths and hiding. It's just like he's a phone loving motherfucker. I'll tell you.
Well, that's
That was
how
the
you had to do
technology.
it.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
was
you
the
had
way.
to do it.
I know, but it just really cracks me up when you think about how much he's on the phone.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is they're like, so they see her dad's station wagon, and like an idiot, instead of being like, that's my dad's station wagon, oh, we'll have to come back and investigate, she's like,
He runs towards it.
yeah. And then the best part is Dr. Chalice just stands there. He's like, nope.
This is embarrassing.
He turns into Shaggy. Wasn't me.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know her. She's like, they're both super awkward for this whole tour.
Yes.
But I mean, to be fair, they're like, they have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
No. And they don't know anything about the guy. And they're trying to, piece clues together to try to find out who killed her dad.
I did find it a little creepy. I think they did a really good job in a really awkward way of placing the like robotic men around the place. Yeah, because they're just like fucking everywhere. Like there's one that's kind of recessed in a shed, looking out the window or the door. And you're just like,
that robot got the raw into the deal, man. You
He
stand
did.
in the
You-
shed.
yeah, you go in the shed. Keep the door open. We want to see you.
Make sure nobody comes in here. Yeah, they're just kind of placed.
No one touches that mola. You hear me?
Yeah.
I think
Really
it adds. I think that does add to the creepiness of like, it's gonna be hard to get out of here.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's cool and really weird. So then they head back to the hotel, and then he, of course, goes to make another phone call. Instead of, I don't know, just packing up and leaving, then making a phone call on the road. After you know that these people are going to be after you because your new girlfriend decided to run at them and blow your cover completely. Even though they already knew because they had little microphone on the front desk because he thought it would be a good idea to make these calls on the front desk like nobody would be listening. I don't know about
I
that.
mean, at that point, you probably don't know. Like, here's this, little motel. Like, how are you supposed to know it's going to be bugged?
Well, I
Other
don't know
than
if you
Ben.
know if it's going to be. Yeah, that probably is that for sure. I don't know if you know if it's going to be bugged, but you do know that like there's some shady shit going on, especially when you heard him say, misfire, and he that the guy's there and everything. So you're like, let me go make a phone call at his desk again. You're like, I'm gonna go get in the car, drive down the road to the, to the because they have phone booths back then, to the phone booth, and hope that Superman's in one so he can save me. So she gets kidnapped, of course, and then Dr. Chalice is on the run, and we keep intercutting back and forth between him and that the woman that works in the morgue, and he's flirting with her so hard, and like
Yeah.
basically he has her as like his like booty. He's on like she's on the booty call Rolodex, and like he's basically asking her to do favors for booty calls.
Yeah, she's like, I love
Yeah.
when she calls him out and he's like, I'm always ready to go to dinner with you. And she's like, yeah, right. It hangs up or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't believe that, but
yeah.
Please call me.
Yeah, but she still likes him,
Yeah. Please, Tom Atkins. How can you not? Right?
Am I
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
Am I right?
All right.
Oh, Tommy boy.
So,
Sorry. It comes out sometimes.
that comes out sometimes. It's something I say sometimes.
That's the new theme song.
Oh, Tommy boy.
Our name gets changed to the Tom Adkins podcast.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, isn't it kind of already? I mean,
It is. It
Pretty
is
much.
to a degree.
Pretty much is.
So, let's jump forward to him being basically he gets attacked by one of them. Before he gets captured, and he fights one and he punches a hole in their stomach. And that's when we realize that they are androids.
They're chickens and they're full of egg yolks.
Yeah, it's like they pull out
dun,
the old, or they're androids from Alien Universe because they have yellow blood, right?
You gotta have yellow blood in there,
Yeah.
Just hold them all together.
So the android that he fights and that one that's reoccurring, you guys know who that is? That is Dick Warlock, who played the Shape in Halloween 2.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
very
Even
nice.
more meta.
Yep. So this is when Cochrane takes him and shows him his entire plan, because at this point it turns into a James Bond movie, and he's like, follow me, I'll show you my entire dastardly plan that you must foil.
I loved this too. I love that
Yeah.
he just explains it all to him. Like,
Like,
why?
well, since you won't live
I
to
mean-
see tomorrow. Well, he's because he's a narcissist. He has to
Yeah.
tell somebody about the
100%.
plan.
Absolutely,
That's what I was going to
absolutely.
say.
Yeah,
But it's
Yeah, he's
like
already won in his mind.
yeah.
You're in
he's
his
just
town. You're in his facility, surrounded by his robots. You have no means of escape. Good luck.
yeah.
I'll tell you
and-
everything.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I just need an audience. I need somebody to know this crazy shit I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
we get the test subject scene. What do you guys think of this bit?
it's the best part of the whole movie.
It is the best scene, yeah.
I've got to say that what is it? Subliminal messaging?
It's
Yeah,
I don't
magic.
it's magic. It's just magic.
Fucking weird. I guess.
That's basically
man.
it's
So,
magic, yeah.
Before that, back
The
up
combination-
just a smidge, because they are talking about
Yeah.
this fucking rock that they got from Stonehenge. Which, by the way, earlier in the movie,
Very beginning,
there's a
they
news
mentioned
broadcast
Stonehenge.
about a
Yeah.
rock that got stolen
Yeah.
And they're like,
When
all
you
you
say
need
it
is
aloud, it's so dumb.
all you need is a little of it some fairy dust on the
Yeah.
microchips,
Yes.
a couple of atoms.
You'll never guess how we got it there. No, I won't. Fucking tell me.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't tell you. It was like,
He doesn't tell you. You'll never believe it. You'll
He's
never
like,
believe it.
my guess is
Uh,
dragons. He has giant robot dragons that
I bet
flew
he
one
just
over.
takes his robots and has them walk to. I don't know what he does.
I guess
Did
it's
it-
magic.
Did he say? Did he go to Stonehenge and say, "Hey, everybody, look over there," and then just grab it and run off?
Look that way. He like David Blaine's him or something.
Yeah. It's Elvis.
You'll never believe how he got it.
Yeah. It just always says, and we're
Crazy
like,
shit, man.
I was like,
Like-
no, I won't. Tell me.
You're like, yeah, I will believe anything you say because you're doing this and it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And you're just telling me everything. So tell me. So yeah, that is hilarious. You're right, Derek. And then so then we get the test subject where they bring in the family, the little Buddy Jr., the Kupfer family, brings in Buddy and his wife and Buddy Jr. And he says that he's having him review a new commercial. And first of all, I don't know why they're not creeped out that they're in this strange dungeon.
That's the living room setup.
Instead of just, I don't know, just watching it in a room with the TV. But so it's like, this is top secret, even though it's going to air tonight because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
So they go there and they do the experiment. Old boy puts on his mask, which also, here's the thing. I did not watch TV in masks. Ever. If I was
did it?
No, for
Everyone did
Halloween,
that.
if I was wearing like the Freddy mask, yes, because it was glued to my face. But like if I had a pullover mask, I would get too hot. If I'm actually sitting watching TV, that would come off, and I'd be in my costume watching TV. And
Not to mention like how it obstructs your vision.
yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah, I always take it off. So anyway, this kid, he's like, they're like, gather around. Put on your mask. He's like, "Ooh, I've got to do that." Puts on his mask
To watch a
and-
commercial.
to watch a commercial. And then his head turns into crickets and snakes. The mask
Spiders.
starts to melt stuff, all this gross
Dude.
shit. The mom faints.
So many crickets.
The dad gets bit by the snake. What do you guys think of this? Besides it being batshit crazy, of course.
It's
I was gonna say it's
amazing.
bonkers, man. Amazing.
It's amazing, guys. It's amazing. It's the craziest. Like, it's the scariest thing. How's that not the scariest thing? Your face melts off and spiders and snakes come out. Like,
I don't know how this happens. Magic.
creepier.
Magic is how it happens.
Compost.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like compost.
I don't know.
Very
It's
organic and
just-
earthy.
The imagery is so perfect.
It looks cool. No, it looks really
looks
great.
so sick.
It looks really cool. Yeah. And Dr. Chalice is just like, oh, the entire time. And Cochrane's just kind of boringly standing there.
Yeah, he's just like, yep, that's what happens when we do this.
Oh man, I can't wait till I get to like the next bit.
Oh, we're here.
The next bit is the fucking
So-
worst.
So he ties him up to is that a dolly, basically? Does he tie him up to a dolly?
I thought it was a wheelchair, like an old style wheelchair.
One of the two. And he's strapped in it. And he puts the mask on him and makes him watch John Carpenter's Halloween, because at the end of that is when they do the giveaway, the Silver Shamrock giveaway. And that's when all the crazy, everybody's, so he's basically like, now your face is going to melt off too. So he kicks the TV in, like we discussed early in the episode, and uses the glass to cut himself loose, right?
Hmm.
And then he does his best James Bond and John McClane. First of all, guys, he throws the mask perfectly onto the camera.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic.
I know.
Oh, God,
I
I loved
know.
it so much. I started laughing so hard. I was like, well, it is Tom
I'm
Atkins.
I'm surprised it wasn't on the floor and he kicked it up there. I'm surprised that didn't happen.
But he literally just did it like this. He's like, and it just goes, whoop.
Perfect. I mean,
Love-
would you expect less from Tom Atkins?
I
though?
wouldn't. That's what I said. I was like, what? That's insane. What's Tom Atkins though?
Yeah. It's
Guess
like
I'll let it fly.
did all of you start cheering like I did? Like I was like cheering at this point. Like, yes, got it.
Do it.
Knew he would get out.
Yeah, so then he crawls through the vent, does his best John McClane, and escapes. What do you think of this bit, Derek? You've been kind of quiet
The
over there.
escape?
Yeah.
The escape? Like, I mean, it's just, it's unrealistic
Well, yeah, of course.
in every facet. I mean, it is what it is. I personally like when he gets out of there and he has one phone call. He's a doctor. He's got to know a ton of people. And the one person he calls is his ex-wife.
Granted, he calls
Save the
her
children.
to tell her not to have the kids put on the mask.
Yeah.
That is true, but I would have like tried to call somebody. Like he eventually calls the
First priority.
TV stations.
Yeah,
I mean,
Call-
he's a. Go ahead.
Call save your children. Like that's
Yeah, I mean, that
first
was his
priority.
first-
Save my own children. You know.
That-
He doesn't seem to have very good parental instincts.
that didn't that
Well,
didn't bother me as
that
much
doesn't
because I
mean he
was
doesn't
like,
care.
I would have tried. I mean, I would have. The thing is, I'd known my ex-wife sucked. So I would like make up some other excuse or something. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
there's anthrax in the masks. Throw them away.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
a
get 'em
doctor,
out.
so listen to me. They're dangerous because of the chemicals, and then she
That's a
would
good
probably
one,
throw them away.
Jamie.
Yeah,
Yep, that was good.
I wouldn't have thought of that. I was like,
Yeah,
how?
at this
Like, what would
conference
you
that I
come up
lied
with?
to you and said that I was at, they said that these masks are super toxic.
yeah. Get them, throw them away. Take them from the kids, throw them
Get them
away.
out of there.
They're fine.
Get 'em out of the house.
But so, yes, he makes that phone call. Then he tries to make another one. He's just a phone call and son of a bitch, I'm telling you. And at this time, the doctor at the thing has realized that this doesn't look like car parts. I think this is, I don't know what this is. And one of the androids comes in and unfortunately the kill's off screen, but drills her head with the drill.
I love how that was shot. Actually, how it was like just the corner of the desk is all you see, like her legs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. The shot conversation is cool. What isn't cool to me, what's funny, is he goes over and he sets down the drill, right? And she's oblivious that he's there. And then he's there, and he's literally, he had to have been right fucking beside her because he just picks it up. So it's like he had to have walked into her line of sight, put the drill down, and she was
Pick
like,
it back up.
whoa!
Yeah, he
Yeah.
must be one of the new models that has like stealth mode.
Yeah, he gets predator vision. So, anyway, he runs in and finds Ellie. And, like, I hadn't seen this in a while, but I remembered her being a robot, mainly because, like, it didn't trigger at first until she literally doesn't say a word to him. And I was like, oh, yeah, she's an android. That's right.
Yeah.
Like, because she just, but, guys, my biggest problem, it doesn't make sense. Why does she help him? Why does she help him? She's an android.
Yep.
Why does she help him?
You mean
Yeah.
like whenever he takes all of the Shamrock emblems
Yes.
up onto the rafters and then like dumps them over and then
Well,
fucking
first
space
he-
lasers?
Well, she doesn't really help him. He's kind of like dragging her along.
Well, but she's literally standing there, and he says, hey, stay right here. He goes down in the lion's den to turn on everything, and not once was she like, he's right here, or grab him, or rip his head off, or anything, because she could. She's just like kind of hanging around with him. Then they both go up, and the Silver Shamrock theme is playing. So he dumps all of the little shamrocks down on him, and they all get blue faced, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like this circle, and Stonehenge starts glowing, and Cochrane's standing in the middle of it, and he looks up at him and he goes,
Yeah, he's like, yep, you got me.
and
Good
then
job.
he just vanishes, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, he like turns into a dummy and then vanishes. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know if he's rubber or if he was supposed to be like stone, like a statue. Or
I think it's supposed to be maybe he's turning to stone. I don't know. It's really weird.
that would make the most sense, even though it makes no sense.
Yeah,
But kind of
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, he's just
But
like
he looks
turn-
like rubber.
he's like, and then like he just disappears. And so, what do you guys think of this ending bit?
Of that scene.
Yeah,
I love the
I love
him dropping the.
I love that
chips.
too. I love that idea. That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I had a different take on that. I'm like, first off, why do you think that would work?
Yeah.
And second, like, fucking space lasers going everywhere, shooting people in the face. I don't know.
So-
it just
There is a
was
problem.
awkward.
There is
Misfire
kind
on
of
you.
there is kind of a logic problem within all of it, which is so conceivably they have to wear the mask because then it like does its thing. But then if it's not in there and it's in the vicinity, it shoots blue lasers, I guess. I don't understand the logic behind it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it is a cool idea. I really I mean, I can imagine myself writing this script and then saying, how's he going to get out of this situation, and saying, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we use the technology against them? And we have all these, I could see myself literally like coming up with that solution, like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And then my co-writer would say, well, how does it do that? And I'd say, oh, it's cool. Let's just put it in the movie. Nobody will ask questions.
Yeah, you know
Because
what?
that seems
It's
like what they
clever.
did.
Yeah.
Cardboard boxes. I would just light the place on fire.
So it starts catching the place on fire. And we get the worst shot, one of the worst shots I've ever seen in my life, of them running from the factory. Oof. Where it's like glowing. Oof. It's like horrible, like Compton. I was like, guys, come on.
Guys.
Couldn't you have given that like one more go through? It's
Ugh.
not good. But we failed to mention the great Halloween montage that we get of the kids grabbing the masks, which I love.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love that montage. Really, what I love is the magic hour shot of the kids like marching, and you see they're silhouetted by the sunset.
That's the
And-
best.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And autumny, it's very autumn-like. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. That's the best shot of the movie. Probably the best part of the movie, to be honest, besides Tom Atkins. That's the best part of the movie. It's just like gorgeous. So then we get this ending. Derek, what do you think about this this ending with Ellie?
Or she attacks them.
Yeah.
Man. So I did not pick up that she hadn't talked to him. And I was like, so that's when I was like, she a robot the whole time? And I was like, man, there's no way she could have been. So like my mind started going through the whole logic process. I don't know. She's like the one that won't quit. That's
Yeah,
for
she's like a
sure.
Terminator. Yeah.
Yep, because she loses an arm whenever he runs into the tree. And then she attacks him again, and then she's beheaded. And then her arm goes after him.
Dude, he
When
rips
the body
her...
comes back up, it's just like, it's weird.
Yeah, it goes. It's a little. I think there's one too many of those attacks. I think
I
there's
agree
just
with you.
one too many.
That
The
scene
last
goes
one-
on for a little while.
Yeah, I think the last one is the one too many, because I think her being her losing the arm and then attacking him, and he hits her head off and then like rips it off. That is fine and cool. She's laying there, And then when the hand attacks her, that attacks him, that's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he throws it down and he gets attacked by the body once more, that's the one too many where I was just like, okay, guys, we get it.
Like, she's not the villain. Like,
Yeah, she's just like kind of like that one last jump scare, but it's just kind of like, okay, we get it. And so he ends up at the gas station that we started the movie on. And he makes a phone call. The gas station guy goes, "Don't I know you?"
yeah.
Yeah.
And we get the ending where he's calling the stations and, he's telling them, yeah, I know it doesn't make sense, but you got to turn it off, blah, blah. And these kids pull up wearing the masks. And this is fucking hilarious to me. The kid just goes into the dude's shop and starts turning his TV. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
An entitled
like,
little
son,
brat, I guess. I don't know.
It's like, son, you're about to get your ass whooped. I was watching wrestling. So
That kid was like, I gotta get to a TV. I gotta get to a TV.
I gotta get to it. So he tells him to turn off the TV or turn it off. He gets 2 of them turned off, but the third one is still on. And
Yeah,
he's
the
yelling into the TV.
stations.
He's yelling into the phone, turn it off, and we end. What do you guys think of this ending?
I love it.
I did like it, actually. I liked the cliffhanger. The
Yeah.
unknown.
It is a direct
It's
lift in
A
an
familiar
homage.
one.
Yes, it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's exactly the ending to Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yep.
The original. And it's not, he's not hiding it. Tommy Lee Wallace said, yeah, we topped the ending of Invasion of the Body Snatchers because I wanted to always do a political, like a, paranoid thriller movie that ends that same way. So that's what he did. I like the ending too. It's really solid. It's a great way to end Punch Out because then you can make up your own mind. Does he not get turned off and everybody die? Or, some kids die, or does he get it turned off at the last second and he averts tragedy? The choice is yours. It's up to you.
I mean, either way, he's definitely saved a bunch of lives.
Yes,
Because
he did turn
not
off
every
2 and
kid's
3.
going to be like, I'm going to turn it to the next station
Yeah,
and the next station. So,
yeah.
Yep.
And that was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which, by the way, is also a very terrible title. Season of the Witch.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like, what does that mean?
I got witchcraft.
Well, it's a
from
good
that.
song.
Yes, it is. Should they have called it Halloween 3, The Stonehenge Murders?
Mystic. I would have called it Mystic River.
That's a Clint Eastwood movie. What are you talking about?
Or Mystic Pizza or something.
That's also a movie. You need to get off Mystics.
I didn't get on there, man. They forced me. They forced it on me.
I mean, Season of the Witch is a fine title. It's just a misnomer. Like, it really
Yeah, I mean,
means
there's
nothing. It means
not
nothing.
really a witch
Masks
in it.
of the
I'm guessing-
Phantasms.
Now you're just labeling different movies. That's a
Season of the
Batman movie.
Masks. Season
So-
of the
That's different. It's plural.
Season of the Witch is fine because I get it, because it's Halloween is the season of the witch, I guess. You can make it make sense that way.
Yeah, so maybe it should have been, because I know a lot of people complain like it's not a Halloween movie, stuff like that. We've all heard it.
Mhm.
But so maybe it should have been like a series where they could have just been like Halloween Season of the Witch 1, Halloween Season of the Witch 2, and they could have done stories like.
Yeah, but what happened was Season of the Witch, this movie, underperformed horribly at the box office.
Yeah.
And because people went to the movie, they're like, Halloween 3, and then they watched it and they're like, what?
Yeah.
This is not. And so it just died. It was going to be an anthology series. And then they're like, well, that's done. And Mustafa Akkad was like, well, these people's they want Michael Myers, and that's what I'm going to give them. And then 5 years later, they released Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, and it made a bunch of money in the box office. So they're like, okay. But if the movie wasn't titled Halloween 3, I think it would have gotten better reviews when it came out. Because it wouldn't have been comparing it to John Carpenter's 2 previous films, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like insulting almost to like go in there and just have something that it's like not what you paid to see, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the only other scenario was that after the original, you went right into a movie like this.
Right,
You
that could have
can't
worked.
have, like in 2 Halloween movies that starred the same killer.
Yeah.
And then just a 360. I mean, this thing was as far removed from that as you could possibly get. I feel like that was just a terrible strategy on their behalf.
Yeah, well, I think I understand their line of thinking. They're like, oh, well, we have this name recognition, so let's use that name to make these movies. But that that's not what people wanted. So it's like it was a gamble. They tried it, it failed. You know, you live and you learn. But we have it now here. 30, almost 40 years later to talk about. It was 40 years later, right? 1982 was when this movie came out. Is that correct? Yeah, so it is exactly 40 years this year that this movie came out. So here we are discussing this movie 40 years later. Think about that. That's nuts. And we're going to give our takes on it. So, Derek, let's start with you. What do you think about Halloween Trace, Season of the Witch?
Man, I feel like I was on like LSD when I watched this movie because it was just so far out there. I don't even know if this would have been a good movie if it had just been like titled Season of the Witch and like not even part of the Halloween franchise. There were so many parts that didn't make any sense to me. There were stretches that were like really hard to comprehend. I enjoyed this movie because of Tom Atkins and like kind of that tradition that we've started with, with him. But I did not think it was a great movie. I'm going to give it a 4.
4. Lydia. What are your thoughts on Halloween 3?
She's gonna Hulk out on me.
What are you thinking? Halloween 3, the Stonehenge murders.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I really love this movie. Like I don't know. I guess it's maybe a comfort movie. But it's not one that I put on. I mean, I watch it like I've been watching it every year. Like I think this is a yearly movie for me. But honestly, like the sound and the strobe lights, like those are some of the things that'll take me out of a movie pretty quick, where I'm like, I hate strobe lights in movies, honestly. And the sound is piercing. So I don't like, it's not one of those I put on to go to sleep because it'll wake me up and it'll irritate me. But yeah, it's like, and I just love it though, honestly. Makes no sense at all though, now that we're talking about it. It made sense in my mind until you guys told me everything.
Ask questions.
Yeah, stop asking questions about this movie, guys. It's not fair.
All we're doing is asking questions.
Yeah, it's got Tom Atkins in it, and that's the only question. It's like, does it have Tom Atkins in it? Yes.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a great movie. That's all. No, but I think like a lot of the acting was really bad. I mean, Tom Atkins was
except Tom,
great.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was great. The girl was fine. She's the age difference still kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I mean, it doesn't freak me out.
She was about to get her driver's license. It's fine.
It's like she's like, I'm way older than I look. And I'm like, but how much older? Like, what do you mean?
What does this mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. But the effects I like. The story isn't really there. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give this movie an 8.
Oof.
I don't think it's a full 10, but I really love it. So, and would I recommend it? Yes. Like I recommend this movie to everyone. It's like my favorite one, and everyone gets mad at me, and they're like, "It's not a Halloween movie," and I'm like, "I don't care. I love it. I think it's perfect the way it is. I wouldn't change a single thing about it,
That's
except
not a
maybe
lie.
the villain,
You would too, and you would also change the music.
the music, the strobes, and the villain. I would maybe change.
Okay, so
Well, that definitely explains the look you gave me.
yeah. Okay, so I'll give you mine here in a second, but I'm just crunching some numbers here.
You're looking at the age difference.
Yeah, Tom Atkins is now 85, and
She's in her 30s.
She's no, Tom is 86. She is so Tom is 86. She is 63. So it's pretty
20.
Yeah, 20 some.
I told
Yeah.
you she's like
She's
20
like 22.
years younger.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
a
there's about a 20-year age
Yeah.
between the
So
two.
how old was he when they filmed this?
He was in his 40s.
And she's in her 20s.
Yes.
So it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just, it is what it is.
Was she in her 20s?
Yes. Yeah, she was in her 20s. Because she was born in 59. This was 69, 79, 80, 81, 80. She was 23. Yeah.
23.
Yeah. He was 42, something like that. So almost exactly 20 years. So I am going to give Halloween 3 Season of the Witch about a 6, I would say. About a 6. Because there are things that I really like. Then there's things that are okay. And then there's things that there are stretches in this movie where it's also the opening. It's kind of slow and a little bit Dollsville for a stretch there before it kicks in and starts going. But yeah, like you said, I agree with both of your points. The acting is not the best all the way around the board, but Tom Atkins is great. The acting, I give it a 10 on the Atkins scale because he's great in it.
Yes.
So he gets a 10. The story is sloppy and kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. There's some nonsensical stuff, but it's a well shot movie. My biggest sin to it is I just don't think it's very scary. I don't find anything about it scary. There's some tension here and there, but I don't feel like, like I remember when I watched this as a kid and I was just like, yeah. And then I remember the reaction I got when the first time I watched Halloween and I like wanted to crawl up into myself and run because I was just like bone chillingly terrified. I was like, I do not fucking like that. And now I love it, of course. But I was like, I don't like that. This one I was like, robots. Like, I guess I've just never been afraid of like Terminator. I never was scared of it because the first one's kind of a horror movie. So horror and neo-noir. But I never thought it was scary. I always just thought it was badass. So robots are cool to me, I guess.
I think it was, for me, like the robots weren't scary, but
No.
I think it's more of like almost like House of Wax kind of feel of like being alone. Like it's kind of like nobody's actually
cool.
there. You know what I mean?
I get that, the isolation, but it's just weird that it's like literally 2 towns over and you have this super rich and famous guy that's doing it. Like it's not some like evil underground sect. It's this dude that people would be following because he's super rich and famous. He's like one of the richest men in the world, they said. So it's like, what? All right. But it's fine. The score has some good parts and some not so good parts. There's some really nice bits. There's a bit in the score where it like does this ding 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 ding. You know what I'm talking about? that real high pitch ding ding, and that stuck in my head subconsciously because when I was scoring Cutoff, or First Short,
Yep.
when I was scoring Cutoff, there's a piece of music I wrote that goes ding 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 ding. It's the same note, and it rings for a while, but then I go to like bow bow, like a lower bit, like totally a John Carpenter riff. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking of when I was writing it. But it's very funny when I heard it here. I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch! That's where I got that from." I guess I stole it from this. So, yeah, that is Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, Season of the Stonehenge, of the fairy dust, of the masks, of the phantasm. I think that's the title we. Goddamn Mystic River. So we don't have to Atkins this week, guys, because Tom Atkins is in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
So instead of Atkinizing it, let's Campbellize this week. Who would you cast Bruce Campbell as in this movie?
The villain.
He would be much cooler, wouldn't he?
Way cooler and more memorable.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good one, Lydia.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think you're right. Yeah,
I think he would also play a fantastic
Dr.
Dad.
Chalice.
that
He
goes
would
on
play a
tour.
really good Dr. Chalice.
Yeah, if
Well,
they ever remade this, he
agree.
would be a great
The-
Dr. Chalice. Yeah,
The dad that's just like with his family taking the tour of
dude,
the.
he would be great as that dad.
He would be
Yeah,
perfect as that.
he would be great as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be really
He's kind
funny.
of
as that.
like, over the top kind of
Yeah, hey,
salesman
Yeah.
kind of character.
dude, that would be great. He'd,
Yeah.
would say shit like, little buddy, go away,
Yeah, buddy and little buddy. Yeah. Come on, that's
If
Bruce.
If that's we'd cast Bruce Campbell as that, then we'd cast the look of the Irish Klopek. Mr. Klopek would be the villain.
Yes. Yes.
You
Luck
saw
of
my
the
skulls,
Irish.
didn't you? Now we must discuss yet another transfer. We'll do the Burbs one day. It's a good one.
Imagine the movie that we just cast. Like nobody would be mad about that. Nobody would be
And-
pissed about seeing Halloween 3, Season of the Stonehenge.
Oh,
You know?
I got it. I know exactly how to
Mhm.
fix it. Just replace the villain with Michael Myers. Just have him go around
Oh
killing
my
people,
gosh. Yeah.
wearing
you go.
masks.
There you go.
He targets those masks.
The
Got
masks are fantastic though.
They are really cool sculpts. I think Don Post made them. I think they were Don Post masks in real life.
They're
I could be
wonderful.
wrong.
And all the
Uh,
masks that you see in the background too when they're in the factory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're fun.
that's cool stuff. The it could have been cool if John Carpenter directed this as well.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Wallace did fine, but if it was a John Carpenter joint, it'd be even better probably. And by probably I mean absolutely it would be because it's John Carpenter. John. So guys, that's Season of the Witch. Derek, do you have any spooktacular stories for us this evening?
I mean, I have one.
Ivan,
I can't remember what it was.
suck your blood.
Do we have any like Halloween memories and
Okay, I
stuff?
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I need to preface before I say the story. So one time the first airplane I ever got in, I jumped out of it, went skydiving, right? I'd never been in an airplane before.
Mhm.
I was like, what? I just broken up with a girl. I'm like, I'm gonna go jump out of an airplane. So anyway, so Quincy and I, when we started dating, we were watching Dexter. And I was like, oh yeah, and I totally undercut the traits of somebody who is a sociopath. But anyway, I was like, some of the traits that they have are, they're. I made a comment that made it sound like I was a serial killer, right? And so she gives this sideward glance, to me. And she was like, "Did you just say that you were a serial killer?" I was like, "No, that's not what I just said." I guess in a roundabout way, I mean, that's the way that she took it. But anyway, I told that story really poorly, but the gist of it was there was a moment when my current wife thought that I was a serial killer. So this outfit definitely plays well.
It does.
You dress as Dexter every day on the podcast.
You usually dress as, you have the Derek uniform. It's usually a white shirt or a blue shirt.
I thought about changing my shirt today, and I was like, nah. It'd be
It's gotta be a
be
white
getting
one.
away from character.
Halloween memories. I have one.
Okay.
I have a Halloween memory. One of the first years that I stayed home for Halloween to pass out candy. I was in high school, and I was like, I don't want to, go trick or treating. I'll stay home and pass out candy. But I didn't want to just be boring, and I was watching AMC. Do you guys remember Fear Fest back in the day, or Monster Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the year that it was hosted by Bruce Campbell.
Nice.
So I was there just so I could watch the bumpers with Bruce. And so I dressed as Ash. I just made my own Ash costume. I sawed off a fake or an old BB gun. So I had a sawed off boomstick. I had a blue button up shirt. I put blood, cuts on my face, fake blood. I put my right hand into a stump, and I put like a piece of tape around it with a cloth and put blood all over it. So then when people would open the door or ring the doorbell, I'd pop out as the Ash and be like, "Wow, you want a little of the boomstick?" And people were like, "Oh!" And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were one of those damn deadites. Here, take the candy." And I threw candy at kids.
Oh my gosh.
That was a great Halloween.
Oh, boy. Sounds like it.
What's yours, Lydia?
Well, I don't know.
Someone, really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go. I'll think of mine.
Does anybody remember, or did anybody's parents take them to the hospital and have their candy x-rayed?
No. Did you?
Yeah, my mom made us go and get our candy x-rayed because they were afraid that people put like razor blades and stuff like that.
Jeez,
No, true story.
Louise. That's hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, so did your candy taste like radiation?
Right? So instead, your candy was just like full of cancer or something.
Yeah,
Like,
let's give
Mom,
you
why
some
did you glow
cancer
in the
candy.
Oh my gosh.
I
What?
don't know.
Do
I just have
hospitals
this extra
do that?
limb.
Huh?
Do hospitals do that?
They used to.
They did back in the day. Like, there's all kinds of like urban legends that go
Did
around.
she just tell you that they did? Like, did you
And they just
see
happen
it?
to
I can't imagine a hospital doing that.
It was
can you guys hear me?
was Duke's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you not hear us?
No, I activated the voice assistant on
Uh-oh.
accident. I almost said her name, and then that would have caused a
Screwed
chain
everything
reaction.
up. Yeah.
Because like my whole house is Apple products. Everything would have been popping up. Look at it for you.
Nice.
Oh my god. Lydia, do you have
Well-
a Halloween memory?
I guess I do. When me and Jake moved into a house together and we had it was either our first or second Halloween at our house. I can't remember if I want to say it was like 2017 or 18, maybe. Can't remember exactly, but we watched actually we watched Terrifier, so whatever year that came out.
Yeah.
And we carved pumpkins together and we sat outside and I decorated the front porch and we're sitting on the porch swing and he brought me like some hot cocoa and like a pumpkin mug and like the street was just beautiful, like fall, and it just felt like perfect, like the perfect Halloween. And I loved it so much that I got I got tattooed our jack-o'-lanterns that we carved.
Oh,
Like I loved it so much, and I was so like, I just want to like remember this Halloween forever. And I got I'll send a picture because I don't want to have to roll up my sleeve, but
yeah.
I'll put a picture up of our jack-o'-lanterns.
It's a nice one.
Well, I
That's a
don't
nice
want to
memory.
cry on this episode, Lydia, but I just might now.
Yeah, that was a really nice one.
I think
was
a lot of people are probably like, why does she have like, she's really got like jack-o'-lanterns on her arm right now, like just
You know what,
Halloween
those
all
people-
year. But I really do. I
People-
love it.
Hey,
What was that
People-
kid's name in this movie?
little buddy,
Little Joe?
little buddy.
Little buddy. Yeah, Lydia, those people, you just flip them the bird.
Yeah, you give him the little buddy treatment. That's a very nice story. I'll give you one more before we start wrapping down, which is, have you guys ever for Halloween, when you were younger, got a really shitty costume?
Oh
like
yeah.
the costume that you wanted, you couldn't get it to work. Whatever happened, you couldn't get your costume, so you have to just settle.
Yeah.
That's like the worst, right? I remember one year
I have some pictures.
One year I had to be Dracula. And it's like the most boring, cliched thing you could be.
I was Dracula like every year because I could never figure out anything to wear.
I just was Dracula. Like, I remember Mom giving me the costume, being like, oh, here. And I was like, God dang it. Fucking Dracula. And I remember just going and, trick or treat. And, I'm like, trick or treat.
Walking
Fucking
around.
Dracula. This costume sucks, literally.
I love it. I love it. I was obsessed with vampires, so I was always down to dress up as a vampire. But one year I didn't want to, and I was like, this is lame. Like I'm a vampire every year. So I put one of those like masks over, or like not a mask, but like a hood that you can't see the face. So it was called like a headless hood or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had my vampire cape on, so I kept telling everyone, I'm a headless vampire.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, why didn't I just like pick out a good costume or something? Like my parents were just like, just wear the same thing. I don't know.
Derek, you ever
I've got
have
an
that?
opposite story.
Yeah, what's that?
No, I mean, I was just happy to get a Halloween costume. So
Yeah.
But I do remember one time, man, I wanted to be Batman so bad. My mom made me a Batman costume. She made like the cowl and the
Nice.
ears, and it was like cereal boxes that she'd used as the framing and like stitched it all together.
Mhm.
And man, I wore that thing until my head was too big. And I could
Oh,
not put it on.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I wore that thing like every day.
Nice.
It was awesome. I loved that thing.
I remember one year I have a really bad one. Okay, so like one year it was like probably like middle school age. And I'm like, I need a costume. I need to go get a costume. I want to go pick one out, go into the Halloween dance or whatever. And my stepmom comes in and it's like, hey, I got you a costume. And I'm like, okay. Like I wanted to pick out my costume, but okay. And it's like one of those hippie costumes that's like green velvet, like garbage
With the
costume
fro?
with like, I don't know if it even had a fro, but it had like a necklace and glasses and stuff. And I was like, I am not wearing that. I was like, you are going to take that back. I am not wearing that monstrosity. Like there's no way.
That's great.
I
That's
can't
great.
remember what I even dressed as that year, but it was not a hippie. I can tell you that.
That's great. I remember one year I was Sub-Zero.
Nice.
I made my own Sub-Zero costume, like just the blue, the hood. And then I know one of the very first Halloweens, I was Beetlejuice.
Oh, nice.
Because when I was younger, I had like bleach blonde hair. My hair was super blonde. So they stuck it up. My mom and dad stuck it up. They gave me circles around my eyes and then gave me striped pants and a little tie. And I was fucking Beetlejuice. Good time.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
So I hope you guys out there have a great and happy and safe Halloween. next week, what are we going to watch? It's my pick. And I was thinking about a couple different things. What if we watch the remake to Night of the Living Dead?
Oh. Okay.
With Tony Todd.
The Tony Todd version, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I almost watched it.
I'm glad you didn't, because we're going to do
this
that
close.
next week. Since we watched the last one, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I kind of want to watch that. So next week, we will watch Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below your favorite Halloween memories. And have a safe and happy Halloween. You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow Lydia at Lydia Spooky. You can follow Derek at DDoglyMaster. You can follow me at Racket. Get your merch at HiLaProductions.com. We'll have an update on the movie next episode. What else am I forgetting? Anything else? Oh, there is one more thing. You can follow us on Spotify and catch up on all of your audio goodness if you don't want to see these great costumes that we're in, and then Derek's costume as well. And there's one more thing. I want you all out there to remember to say your prayers and eat your vitamins, brother, because for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I am the Hawkster Jack, and I will see you next week, dude. Have a good evening.
That's perfect.